My name is Hayley Spring and welcome to the Global Conference of Medical Devices. Today my colleagues and I will be discussing the societal and ethical aspects of the implantable pulse generator. The implantable pulse generator is the power source in deep brain stimulation systems, and similar to a pacemaker, is implanted under the skin near the chest, connected to brain electrodes, but also has a wireless aspect. There are both chargeable and rechargeable modes of IPGs. So the issue that it addresses is patients with Parkinson's and those that experience tremors, stiffness, and slowness of movement. While some medications help initially, then they often become less effective in the long term. And it doesn't cure Parkinson's completely, but IPGs do greatly improve quality of life. Now, so how does the device work? So the IPG sends tiny electrical pulses through implanted electrodes to regulate brain signals. Clinicians do adjust these settings like amplitude and frequency to optimize the different outcomes, and in Parkinson's, stimulation helps normalize activity in motor circuits, easing tremor and rigidity, and unlike surgery, it doesn't destroy tissues but regulates the signals. And now Dr. Emily Morgan will now discuss some important safety features of the device.
Implantable pulse generators are regarded as high-risk medical devices, with most being classed as Class 3 by the TGA. Early complications which may arise from implantation include subcutaneous seromas, hematomas, skin erosion, or general malfunction of the device. Particularly in regard to infection, one study found that the incidence of surgical site infections in patients who had IPGs implanted for deep brain stimulation was 4.9%. Furthermore, the potential for device malfunction is a safety risk. One study discussed a patient whose IPG flipped post-replacement surgery as a result of an undiagnosed post-operative hemorrhage. Finally, the potential for MRI interference with these devices is a safety consideration. Particularly older IPG models depend on a magnetic switch. Exposure of the patients to the magnetic field could spontaneously activate the device and harm the patient. Regarding ethics, there are several considerations. Firstly, patients must give informed consent and be provided knowledge of all potential risks, effects, and information regarding the device. Furthermore, there is an ethical dilemma of the accessibility of these devices given the high costs. Another consideration is the potential for patients to become dependent on these devices to maintain a satisfactory quality of life. Finally, an important consideration is the privacy of patients in regard to the collection of their data by the manufacturers of these devices. Now, my colleague Jessica will discuss some limitations and associated costs of the IPG, which is used for DBS.
Although DBS has transformed the management of Parkinson's, it still comes with several limitations. First, DBS is an invasive neurosurgical procedure, meaning there are real risks of complications such as bleeding, infection, or seizures. Even with an experienced surgical team, some patients require revision surgeries due to the hardware problems like lead migration, wire breakage, or battery failure. Secondly, DBS is not a cure. It is true that it helps control symptoms, but its effectiveness can decline over time, especially for balance or speech problems. It can also prevent patients' access to some medical imaging, such as MRI. There are some neuropsychiatric or cognitive side effects, which simply mean symptoms such as mood changes or speech difficulties. Finally, patients need lifelong management, including device programming, follow-up appointments, and battery replacement if the device is not rechargeable. Moving on to costs, this is another big limitation. The initial surgery, which includes the electrodes, the pulse generator, and the hospital stay, can cost tens of thousands of dollars. In Australia, part of this is covered by Medicare or private insurance, but still patients treated in private hospitals may still have out-of-pocket expenses. Over time, there are ongoing costs as well, things like clinic visits due to infection or battery failure. Interestingly, though, studies have shown that over several years, DBS can actually be cost-effective compared to medication alone, mainly because it improves day-to-day functioning and reduces hospital visits. Mina now will talk more about accessibility and future development.
So DBS can transform life for people with Parkinson's and other movement disorders, but it's still hard to access it for many patients. The procedure costs around $40,000 to $70,000 US dollars per patient and is usually only available in specialized hospitals in major cities, leaving rural and low-income patients excluded. So even after surgery, patients need regular follow-ups and battery replacements, adding more cost and trouble. From a social perspective, limited awareness, stigma, and cultural or religious belief can discourage treatment, while some fear personality or identity changes after DBS. So altogether, these financial, geographic, and social barriers create major global equity gap, meaning only a small fraction of patients worldwide can benefit from it. While access to DBS remains a challenge, the future of DBS is very exciting. New systems are smaller, rechargeable, and MRI compatible, reducing repeat surgeries. The latest closed loop DBS can sense brain activity in real time and automatically adjust stimulation, giving more precise treatment with fewer side effects. So, looking ahead, AI driven personalization could tailor therapy to each patient, and researchers are expanding DBS to depression, OCD, Alzheimer's, and chronic pain. So, as devices become more portable and affordable, DBS could reach for more people globally. And this diagram here shows a closed loop feedback system where brain signals guide stimulation automatically. Here's our references, and thank you for listening.